Hey, welcome to today's live. First evening, I'm not seeing anybody in the chat box as yet. I'm wondering what's happening. Where are all the students? Where are all the students? So today we are going to be having, I see somebody across on Facebook already giving us a thumbs up. Today we're going to be having with us two lovely ladies who will be coming to share with us the 3 P's. Carol present, Lisa's present. And I want to take this opportunity for those who are here already in the States and you have experiences about, packing, preparing, and planning. I want you to take this opportunity to call in also or put in the chat box also your experience if we are leaving anything off, because we are not going to know everything and we might miss some things. So if you're here already in the States, you have already experienced planning, preparing, and packing to travel abroad to take up a international teaching job, we are asking you to come on and share also your experience. We will be taking calls at different intervals. I'll share the numbers shortly that we'll be taking the calls from. And please, teachers who are already here, call in to share your experience. We're doing this for all our teachers who have gotten a job and will be traveling to the United States or wherever they will be traveling, and they might not know what is it they need to be taking with them. Okay, so good evening to Kayandra, Donna, Evelyn, Alicia, Francine, Kay, Ruth, Natalie, Hyman, big up. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to give the others a few minutes more to join, and then I'll bring in my two celebrities so that they can share what they have for us this evening. I hope today is going to be a productive one for all of us. I look forward to a fun and also informative discussion, and I hope you all learn something from it this evening. So I'm going to get the phone number ready that we can call in on for those who will be calling in to share their experience as well. Remember, a teacher corner is basically more relaxing, let down here and have fun. And so we wanted to do this teacher corner where we're sharing what we know with others. All right. Thank you, Aziz and Sane and Easton for joining, as well as Tanya. All right. So, still trying to find a number. All right, guys, if you have not shared the link as yet, go ahead and share the link so others can join. We want as many teachers as possible to come and share with us. So, should I say discuss or listen into the discussion so they too can know what is it that they're up against. Hey, Angela, thanks for joining. Samantha, hey, thanks for joining. Somebody's asking, where is Diane? Diane might be running late. Hey, Jaden. So it's now 7:01. We're going to get straight into it. We don't want to delay because we want to get started early so we can be off early. Okay, so today, guys, as you already know, we will be having a discussion. It's not an interview format. It's just a discussion amongst myself and the two guests today. We will be talking about the 3 P's: preparing, planning, and packing. I know a lot of you have been following the channel. A lot of teachers have accepted a teaching position, whether it be in the United States or in another country. And so we thought this would be an awesome idea to come and share with you some of the things you need to be doing now that you are getting ready to take on your new adventure. Again, thank you for joining, and also congratulations on your new role you will take up for the next school year. All right. So with us today, we have the first interviewee to come on this platform. She was the first to come and share with us her experience in the United States. A lot of people enjoyed that interview and they were like, wow, for 2 hours we sat and we listened. And I'm not sure if we're going to do 2 hours today. I know she will talk for 2 hours, but we're not going to allow her to do it. Let's welcome Miss Julie Livermore.
I'm not sure. I want to say thank you for that introduction. Well, thank you, and thanks for having me once more.
Right. And the next interviewee we had recently, she came and shared with us our very own Jamaican who's here in the United States as a principal. She came and she shared with us some of the things that principals are looking for in teachers. So many teachers were inspired. They learned so many things from Dr. Logan Allen, and we decided, why not ask her to come back on so that she can share with us how to prepare when you're going to be taking on your new role in your new school come September or August. Let's welcome Dr. Logan.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me back.
You're welcome.
There's a saying that it says old habits die hard. I know when I worked at St. Annie's, I was Logan Allen. I've had a name change since then. Yeah.
But you notice sometimes I still say Logan Allen.
That's fine. You're not the only one.
I'm sorry, Dr. Logan.
Yes.
All right, so guys, we're going to get straight into it. If you have not liked the video as yet, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have not shared, go ahead and share with other teachers so that they can come and get some information on what is it that they need to be doing for their upcoming role in wherever they will be going for the 2022-2023 school year. So today, I'm reading the chat, don't mind me. So today,
yeah, I'm gonna be in the chat as well. Yeah.
Today, Ms. Livermore and Dr. Logan and I will be sharing. I know, I'm just gonna say Julie and Anika. We're just gonna be formal because today is, as you know, Teacher Corner, and Teacher Corner is really let down here and relax, and nothing too formal. We can, just relax. So I know Julie will be talking about classroom management today, and she'll be sharing some of the different strategies that you teachers can incorporate in your classrooms. And also she'll be sharing with you a PowerPoint slide so that you can have some ideas of what is it or how is it you can set up your classroom when you take on your new role. And I know Anika will be sharing with us preparing for our new role. She will be talking about lesson planning and also very critical, I know, especially in the United States, the first 10 days of school. There are things that we are expected to do those first 10 days of school. So she'll be looking at those and getting into more details about, what is it you're required to do. Sorry.
Because the job, you're right, because the role of a teacher, I mean, as long as you're a teacher, your job never ends,
Never.
Myself, I'm on summer break. Yeah, we are still planning and preparing.
Yes, Jenny is right out the time at. So, and I will be looking at packing. What is it you're going to be packing to take with you to your new destination? Because sometimes you might not be aware. Myself was not aware of what are some of the things I should have carried. Some of the things I took, I needed to take them, and some of the things I had taken with me, I didn't need them. So we're going to be looking at that. So with that being said, and we know what we're all going to be discussing, I don't know which lady would want to go first.
Well, I mean, I can go first. I can talk about for me, I think I can talk about some of the pre-planning that should take place now that you know that you are moving to the United States or you are taking up a new position in a school as a teacher, I know that there are some pre-planning things that, or thoughts that you can put in place during the summer break, right? And so just like you would do for your children or when you were going to school, you would consider organizing your back to school shopping list and just some of the things and the resources that you might be needing throughout the year. You would do the same as a teacher during the summer months. And so I will break this down into two parts today. We're looking at what will happen before teachers are allowed to return to the school building, because here in the States, I think it's a common thing throughout the entire country where teachers, after the last day of school or the last day the teachers are in the building, you enjoy your break and then you are permitted to come back to the building like a week or two before school reopens. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So during that time, you are still thinking about school. You're still planning for the new school year like you would for yourself if you were a student. You are planning for your classroom and how you will be managing and coping throughout the year. So there are things that you will do, and I'll talk about that pre-planning, and then I will talk about that week when you return and you have permission to come back to the building to set up that physical space for the class, for your students. So, as the summer months are, winding down, summer days are winding down, you will be planning the resources and thinking about things like the theme that you would like to focus on for the year, or as it relates to your classroom decoration.
Yeah.
And so most classrooms you walk in, you can tell right away, sometimes based on how the classroom is decorated, the teacher's personality or the focus for the year. Some common themes that the teachers would use are like the crayon theme or the jungle theme or the school theme. And by that, I mean the teachers would normally buy name tags with this theme, posters, welcome sign. Your rules chart would be reflecting a theme like that.
Yeah.
It's very important to identify a theme. So during summer days, you think about those things, because when you are setting up your classroom, a theme will help you to stay, to keep your classroom environment feeling and a lot more welcoming for the students and engaging too, and print rich. We talk about rich environment a lot. So, and that's part of the whole planning your theme. All right. And then when you think about other aspects of the preparation for the upcoming school year, you want to think about what kind of classroom management strategies and classroom procedures that you will be implementing. And I know Julie will talk a lot more about classroom management and the importance of that. But you want to start thinking about those things over the summer break, okay? And then there are many platforms that you can utilize as it relates to technology in helping you with your classroom management. I know Julie's going to dive into it, but on briefly, I can think about Google Classroom. That's one. You can think about Class Dojo. That's another. And you're going to talk about Class Dojo too, right, Julie?
Yes.
Okay, so good. So I'm just going to touch the surface with those. But those are some of the thoughts that you would want to start having. And as it relates to ideas for how you will organize your classroom or the themes that you will use, you can go onto Pinterest. There are many, 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 many ideas that you can get from teachers who are all over, these kinds of preparation. And then you also want to think about or how you will organize your classroom supplies. So these are just thoughts. and you can think about these things, you can write them down. You can start to, when you go into Target or Dollar Tree, you can start to, put your ideas together and say, okay, this is going to be on my list, this is going to be on my list, this is going to be on my list. So that when it's time for you to do that actual back to school shopping for your classroom, you would know where to go. Even on Amazon, there are many resources.
I could add to that. Anika, I know one year I did the superhero theme.
Yes.
And I got a lot of stuff in Dollar Tree. A lot of superhero charts, things to go on the wall, like wham, bam, even some things to hang in the classroom. I mean, that was made from like board that you could hang in the classroom. Then you have the charts that talk about I'm a superhero, and different, the superhero building with the people flying in the air and stuff like that. So,
and they had capes. I think I remember Dollar Tree carried capes too.
Yes.
And those capes, I saw one year teachers use those as part of their back to school photo, the first day of school photo that they normally take with the children. So that's also something that you can consider. Are you going to, how do you capture first day memories? Are you going to do this in just having kids do like a poster board all about me on the first day of school? Or are you going to be taking photos, on the first day? But they're different things. But those are some of the things you will also want to start thinking about, or drafting your welcome letter to the parents. And usually at the beginning of the school year, on the first day of school, a teacher would write their welcome letter, introducing themselves to the class, introducing themselves to parents.
Can I add to that? If the school has an open night, that's when they would more than likely present that welcome letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Some schools do it like that.
Welcome night.
I would normally require teachers to have that on the first day of school.
Yes.
But our back to school night is a few days down the road. But then they will also furnish parents with a physical copy of that letter again at back to school night.
Okay.
Yes. Good. But some schools require, because too, some schools back to school night is before school opens.
Yeah, it is before. My school it was before.
Okay.
Right.
And that's why we usually give it that night. It's usually before for my previous schools. Yeah.
And just a little with the welcome letter. That's how it's done at my school. They're presented with a welcome letter as well as contact information for the parents to reach out to you prior to the actual, commencement of classes.
And in that welcome letter, you can include how parents will communicate with you, how you will communicate with parents. You can include some other aspects of how you will, your policies, like your homework policy, your late assignment policy, your routine, that if it's like lower grades, you would tell them about your morning routine, you would tell them about your circle time, just in a nutshell, so that parents, because sometimes like with COVID now, parents are not permitted to come into the classrooms, but at least they would know through your welcome letter exactly how their child day would go.
Yeah.
So those are some of the pre-planning thoughts that you would want to engage in before school actually reopens.
Yeah, and just to add the welcome letter, they can just Google some samples and fix one to match their personality or their style. But I don't like creating the wheel.
Or check with other teachers. They always have one.
Yes. I don't like creating the wheel.
I tend to share because when I taught third grade, I had a letter that I created and I just share it. Like I just give some samples and tell teacher, feel free to edit. I don't mind. I don't mind.
All right. Let's hear from Julie.
Okay, so today I'll be looking into classroom management.
Yes.
Not more so the concrete definition from any theorists we know, but from a general, spectrum. And as we know, classroom management are those strategies that the teacher uses to ensure that she's able to teach her lessons smoothly with little or no distraction from, the disruptive individuals that we know, those awesome ones.
Yeah.
Right? And in my days, when we think about classroom management, I think it was mostly geared towards behaviorism theory. B.M. Skinner and Pavlov, which talk about operant conditioning. Right now, the concept was that everybody can be trained to act right, to behave well, even animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was utilized. I mean, teachers in my era, I am certain that on the most part, that's what it is. You have rewards if you do something good, or punishment if you don't do what is required.
Yeah.
In the long run, the punishment will decrease with the change in behavior. We want to look at behavioral, what am I talking about? Behavioral? Classroom management and the more socio-cultural aspect of things, where, because we know in this era, learners are different. Especially in our Jamaican culture, we're easily shut up, right? Because our parents know the value of education, even if they couldn't read.
Yeah.
And there are certain expectations according to the behavior that we must display to demonstrate that, hey, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's different. The culture is different, especially here in the United States. So, as a teacher, you'll find yourself in most instances like a quid pro quo kind of thing. You have to negotiate with students to actually get them to behave.
Yeah.
And based on that, we should. What I would encourage teachers to do is base classroom management on those philosophies of learning that they have. Because as a teacher, you know what learning should look like, right? We all learn about John Piaget and B.F. Skinner and all them theorists. So
Yeah.
right? So we know which child learns by doing or hearing and all that stuff.
Yes.
And informing our perspective of what learning should look like in our classroom. We know what to look for in the same way that we should approach classroom management.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So later on, we will be looking into some strategies, beautiful but not necessarily work, as well as those we use and they work all the time.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we will be looking at some good ways we can set up our classroom physically that would help us to better manage our students while they learn.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So for me, what I'll be looking at are the things you're going to be packing to go abroad. And I know it can become overwhelming when you're, packing to leave, not just for a vacation this time, but this time you're going to be in a different country for maybe 2-3 years. You never know when you're going to be returning home, because anything can happen, like COVID. A lot of people got stuck, thought they could, come and do their first or 2 years and go back home and start things out, but then COVID happened. So what are some of the things that we should be packing to travel abroad? We're going to be looking at that. And some of these going to include your important documents, taking care of things that you usually take care of back home. What if you had loans? What if you had insurance? What if you have statutory deductions and you need to take care of things while you're away? These are some of the things you need to make sure before you leave your country. You put something in place that's going to make sure things are still going smoothly, because a lot of people think that once you get a teaching job abroad and you go to teach abroad, then everything back home ends. No, it does not. It does not, because I remember my first couple of years when I came, I had loans to pay back home. I had other things to take care of, and I had to make sure that I was doing those back and forth every month. So I'm going to be sharing later on how you can, set up your online banking for different things and make sure things are still being taken care of back home. And then when you come here, what are some of the things that you are going to be exposed to? I know a lot of people, when they think about coming to teach abroad, they're thinking, oh, I'm going to foreign, as we call it in Jamaica. May I go foreign now, say a lavish life. So I'm going to expect that I'm going to have the biggest furniture and the biggest house and the nicest apartment and the nicest things. But I'm going to tell you from experience, some people will do it. Some people will do it. But then, what we say in Jamaica, you put your money where your mouth. There's some people don't do that. And so they find themselves in the later run being in all different types of expenses because they didn't budget well for what is it that they were taking on. So I'm going to be talking about, your financial literacy and how you can budget when you get here, especially if you have things to manage back home and also you have bills to pay here. Because listen, when you come to the United States, it doesn't matter. You cannot be late with your rent, and late with your rent meaning you will be getting an eviction notice, and they're not playing. You will be evicted, and that's something that's going to stay on your record. On your record. So even if you want to go to live somewhere else, that's something that can hinder you from getting another apartment to live. So those are some of the things I will be talking about as we go along. The first thing I'll talk about is the important documents that we know we all should need. So I'm going to give it back to Anika so she can talk some more about maybe her first point, and then Julie, and then back to me. And if others who are listening in, as I said earlier, you are here and you know something that worked for you, you can also share that with us. Okay, Anika.
All right, thank you. So I know when I mentioned earlier about going back to school, shopping for your classroom, that might seem a little bit too much because you also have to prepare yourself as it relates to, getting your clothes and, I don't know if some of you do that, but I do that. I buy a set of clothes for the school year and I just rotate those clothes, like I wear them like uniform technically. So that's a lot to take on. And then, having the responsibility for the first time to shop and prepare for your classroom is not an easy feat. But just to know that there are organizations out there, nonprofit organizations that provide support for classroom teachers and, the supplies and resources that we need for the classroom. There's one called Adopt a Classroom. And with that, you can apply for grants. You can apply for classroom supplies itself. And you can also apply for other resources like technology resources for your classroom, books, just different things that will support, because that organization, actually, they don't believe that teachers should be the ones finding these additional resources that they need from their pockets to help enhance the learning space. So there are other organizations, but I know that one in particular. My school received some support from them a few years ago. So that's why I mentioned that one. And, there are other things that you can, like I went to St. Joseph's Teachers College and we were very big, right? But
We all did.
provide.
We all did.
Big word.
Oh, yes, Julie, you too, yes.
Right. That was a big word for us back in college where,
Yes.
you improvise, you buy cardboard. I mean, back then we went hunting for cardboard and we would make our chart, buy cartridge paper, make a chart. Here, you don't have to do, I mean, if you are artistically inclined, then so to speak, you buy a flip chart and you make your own poster boards, and it can last you. So, and I know there are teachers who do that. You buy your colored markers and you just do your own thing. And some teachers are so good at it that they can create their own poster boards on the spot while they're teaching their lessons. So there are many other ways to go around the expenses. But if you like the fancy stuff and you want to get your classroom all, looking all decked out, fine.
Can I add to that, Anika?
Yes.
I know my previous school, we got a stipend, should I say, every year to assist with that, but not every school provides that. And so I would not encourage the teachers to buy the stuff from, Jamaica. Wait until they get here. Do not buy them back home. Wait until you get here and find out if your school offers such a stipend. I know for how many years I was there, every year we got $275. $275 is not a lot, but that was a lot to say offset not taking money from my budget. And I stayed within my budget to make sure I used that to buy what I wanted. It might
Yes.
not last for the entire year, like pencils and stuff, but you can ask the parents along the way. So take that in mind, that your school might or they may not provide that money, but that's
Yeah.
something you have to find out. Yes.
Also, Stephanie, if they don't give you that grant, find out from them if you're allowed to go to the warehouse. The districts usually have a warehouse, so you can
Yes.
just pick up things and they kind of put it on your toll. Where you have to pay. You don't pay it from your pocket. They just award you, like, for my district, they give you like $500, and then you get your classroom. You make an assessment of what you need.
Yeah.
And mark you, the warehouse may not have all that you need.
Yes.
Whatever you can get, just get
Yes.
that to it first. So find out.
It's like a credit. You go there, you take. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so my current school did not give money either, but they asked me to provide like a list of things that I needed, and they ordered it. So
Right.
things like that, you
There
have
are
to
many
find
other
out
ways to go
first.
around it, because some schools
Yes.
also, they create wish lists. Like they say create a wish list, and then for us as a private school, if you create a wish list, there might be someone who will reach out to us at some point during the summer or during the year,
Yeah.
and they sometimes will ask us as a principal, what do you need? What can I help you guys with?
Yes.
And if I have a wish list, I just pass it right along.
Yes. Yes.
And then you realize that you get a whole delivery of stuff, and you just share it up with the teachers.
Yes.
So there are many ways that you can acquire your classroom resources and supplies. But if you have to spend something, just be wise about it, okay?
Yes.
Laminate them.
Laminate, exactly. Take good care of them. Laminate them.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're moved to another grade, you can always help out another teacher,
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, but I those are things that you think about during the summer,
Yeah.
and then even a part of your thought should still be about how you will help to the students to grow academically, because that is technically your number one job.
Yes.
To help the students to achieve their academic goals.
Yes.
And one thing that you would want to ask as a new person coming into the district, you would want to ask your principal or whomever is in charge for the student performance data.
Yeah.
And you would review that.
Yeah.
Right? And that can be accessed electronically. So that shouldn't be hard. Because once you have done your onboarding and you're sure that this is where you will be, and you are all set with your online accounts, all your login stuff, you can quickly, like your email is already set up, they can already just pass these information on to you.
Yes.
And they would also give you the login information for whatever standardized testing platform that was utilized. So you would go in and you familiarize yourself with all the data. Don't be scared when you see all of that. But maybe for starters, you will ask for guidance about which data or which report you should be actually focusing on. But you want to have some form of student performance record in your hands. You want to review those, so you would start thinking about the levels that will be sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm a very strong supporter of differentiated instruction. I firmly believe that every child can learn. In Japan, we say every child can learn, every child
must learn.
Yes, thanks to Master Henry Wilson. That was her mantra.
Yes.
Every child can learn, and every child must learn. And that I take with me. So when I came here and I learned about differentiated instruction, I was like, oh, that's what she was talking about back then, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at the performance data, you start to think about, how is it that I'm going to meet these different levels of students that are in front of me? And sometimes too, the reports that you get, it will do a lot of that for you. It will group the students according to the different needs that they have, instructional needs that they have, and things that you will need to focus on. So once you have that information, then you can start thinking of the different strategies and techniques that you will utilize. to help to move these students to the different levels that they need to be, showing growth in. So those are some of the things. And then also you would want to ask your school about the handbook, the school's handbook.
Yes.
That's very, very important. I'm a stickler for the handbook because I believe in policy, and I certainly, so something that you familiarize yourself with the school's handbook, because it has everything you need to make your job easier inside that book. Those words printed there, trust me, they will make your life a lot easier. So you read that handbook from front to back. Familiarize yourself, especially as it relates to student discipline and communication, and also testing and assessment. Familiarize yourself with those three things. You won't go wrong. Trust me. All right. And then, so there are two handbooks. Your school usually have two handbooks. They would have a student parent handbook, and then they will have a faculty handbook. You want to familiarize yourself with both of these documents. All right. The student handbook, usually on the first day of school, parents are supposed to sign off that they read and are in agreement with the student handbook. That's it for us in private school.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you would have the responsibility of sending home that acknowledgement paper that the parents have to sign, but that's very important that that paper is signed and it comes back
and returned.
And it's returned to the school. It's in record that the parents did say, I sat my child down and I read this document and we are in agreement with this document.
Yes.
Because that document is what's going to guide you when you get to the other part that Julie will talk about. When you get to creating those rules and procedures with your children, some of what's in that document
is based on
exactly. All right. So, and also another part to the document that you need to focus on heavily would be their safety and emergency response procedures in that document.
Well, listen, let me stop Anika right there, because if you don't know the safety and whatever you just talk about, look here, when you want alarm go off, you look around and say, what do fair do?
So it's very important. And then in light of what's happening in our society in this country, where, sorry, I don't want to put a daunt on your program, but you saw what happened a few weeks ago in Uvalde, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Procedures were breached in that school. And that's why that intruder was able to access the building the way he did. Right? So that's why you have to be familiar with the safety procedures for this particular building.
Yes.
All right. So you want to think about those things during the summer break.
Yes. And one thing that's Logan.
Yes.
In terms of the procedures, there are many, right? And you're new going into the classroom, new environment.
Yeah.
What we did to kind of have a little leeway was kind of practice them, like every other day we do one. Especially when we know we're coming up to hurricane season, okay, we practice that procedure. But the other one, earthquake, just to get as to what to do.
So here, and then another piece to the procedures, the emergency procedures is your procedures will differ based on your region that you're working in.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So like up in the Northeast, we don't have hurricane drills.
Oh.
No, we don't. Yeah. And then we also would not have tornado drills.
Yes.
Oh.
We would.
Yeah, we do, but it's not common. So it's not something that we put a lot of emphasis on.
Yeah.
Right? You do it maybe once a year compared to the fire drills or the active shooter drills or the, other kind of lockdown drills that we normally do, evacuation drills, all of those. Those you have to do those like regular, like a couple times a month. All of those drills, right? And we also don't do earthquake drills regular because we don't get earthquake a lot. So your drills will be different based on where you are located. And that's something to keep in mind as well. That's why it's very important to have that book. Very, very important to ask for your school's handbook. And if you don't ask for it, get onto your school website. It is on your school website.
It is, yes.
It is on your school website. and you just download the document, read it, familiarize yourself with it. Especially, as I say, communication, parent to school communication or teacher to parent communication, discipline, school discipline, emergency response, and testing and assessment.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Julie, talk to us.
Okay. So outside of BF's inner conditioning, right? Um, to me, and this is just my own definition of what classroom management should look like, right? These are the different. Where did Dr. Britton go?
Oh, did she
These
leave
are
us?
the,
Is that possible?
these are the different strategies that a teacher would use to manage your classroom with the main objective of ensuring students' academic achievement. But on the other hand, ensure their social and emotional growth. Welcome back, Dr. Britt. Yeah, so okay. So I was saying, so on a personal level, classroom management to me is the wide variety of skills and techniques that a teacher uses to establish and sustain students' achievement in an environment that fosters social and emotional growth, as well as moral growth. And this, I believe, would accommodate any student from any cultural background because the objective would be for them to learn whatever you're teaching, but at the same time, you want to change the mindset to ensure that the behavior is intrinsic. So you target the social and emotional thing. And for the first classroom management strategy would be to demonstrate the behavior that you want, right? We can get excited when something happens because students are under our watch, right?
Yeah.
Somebody go on the play field and somebody bumps somebody on the forehead and they come and complain, oh, you bumped me with the ball. And then more often than not, we'll be like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
So you want to respond in a more calm way where they can talk about what happened. And more often than not, it turns out to be just an accident.
Yeah.
So outside of that now, let's look at some of the strategies that we use. Best practices by Fred Jones, who is a new theorist. And I'll go to my PowerPoint now because it speaks to classroom arrangement.
Yes.
Now, it is very important that you pay attention to how you arrange your classroom because a teacher have to work a crowd, as they would say. You must be able to move in between your students because you have students who would hide away from instruction, right, without accountability. So if you're moving through the aisles now, we're better able on you to make you able to tap into who need a little bit more reassurance or encouragement to go on. So Dr. Britton, let me just speak to the PowerPoint, if you could allow me to share.
All right.
Okay, here we go. I apologize for the slide. It's not so professionally done. All right.
Come
so
on.
For me with that.
Beautiful.
All right. So this one here, where you have the more students in the middle, but at the same time, it's slanted in a way where the teacher can move between these groups, right? No students can hide between students. The teacher moves here. And right through to talk about top on Johnny's table and say, come on, Johnny, get to it, and to see if the students is on task. Here is another one. And these would be more applicable to the smaller rooms, maybe the private schools like where Dr. Logan administers. Where
but
you
that's
have
16 students. So some schools do have 16.
Right.
Schools.
Yes. Even public school these days. So they're doing a lot. So here, this is where the teacher would sit. So you can see where all students have an eye on the teacher. The teacher has an eye on all the students. She could just walk here, walk anywhere. She can freely move around to attend to any students who need, and this is back on the shoulder. Sometimes our classrooms are large. This can be used in our Jamaican context as well, And in some districts I'm learning, some teachers have large classes too. So if you find yourself in one of those districts, you may consider this. Always put the majority in the middle and the smaller one, the thinner fence. Make this fence a little thinner for you to get through. But still, in all instances, being able to move through the groups. Okay, this one, let me tell you why this one right here is so good. For me, every single year, my first 10 days of school, I arrange my classroom like this. In a group. I am here, and more than likely, may not have enough students to put in the middle here. But right here, I can walk around and talk to each one of my students here. I can go around here to all of my students. And you also can observe students' behavior, how they communicate. Because you may have a little friend over here, shouting out to this one right over here. Right? So you knowing how they interact with each other will better help you to group your students later on. Those small groups that Dr. Logan talked about are large groups that will help you. So this is also another structure we could use. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is classroom rules and consequences. Now, these are not written in stones, but just want to give you an idea of what that would look like. Because for me, initially, when they talk about establish your classroom rules and expectations and procedures, I said, which is it? Is it classroom rules and consequences or expectation? So we're going to look at that a little bit. So another one classroom management strategy is establishing those classroom rules and consequences. As Dr. Logan mentioned before, it would be best to base your classroom rules on those that you get from the handbook. The student's handbook, because they usually do contain the rules of the school, and you want to base your classroom rules on the rules of the school. So here on your wall, whether you want to do it in separate charts or together, you have your rules and you post a consequence. So there it keeps students in check, right? Be on time to class, right? That means that if you break the rule the first time, you're gonna get a verbal warning. Johnny, you were late this morning. I don't know what happened, but remind mommy that school begins at 7:30, right? Then you have a conference with the child. Try to find out, what's going on, is everything okay? Why you keep coming in late? And then you can talk to mommy about it. Having done that, if it continues, based on the situation, then you may put in a referral for administration to come in and, intervene so they can do their part. So first, in those first 10 days, you want to establish your rules and consequences. Talk about the rules with your students, right? Explain, let them tell you what it means to them. When you say, okay, be on time for class, what does it mean? Right? What time does class? All those things. And one thing about rules. Now, whether we want to believe it, yes or not, students love rules. They love rules. They're willing to tell you who break it and how they should be put. Right?
And one thing too is a very important part of a child's development is structure.
Yes.
So if rules have to be a part of that structure.
Absolutely. They love the structure. And they will keep you on track when you say, you know that Johnny didn't come prepared for school and you said nothing. You said nothing. And the rules. But it would be best to get the students to form the rules. And if you listen, don't say, okay, what rules do you think we should have? Don't do that, because you will take your own whole 10 days for that. For example, if you want to say, okay, let me see raise your hand for permission to speak. You could talk about, class, it's important for us to voice our opinions, right? But if everybody speak at the same time, what's going to happen? They tell you chaos, you won't hear anything. Everybody has to say, so what is a rule that we could develop, to prevent that? And then bam, raise your hand. They will come up with it look like theirs, and they will better want to abide by the rules.
Yes.
All right, so that's rules and consequences. And And if a child break a rule, a teacher could say, okay, you break a rule, so this is your verbal warning. You say that out loud for what you call deterrence, that nobody break any more rules for the day and follow through.
Yeah.
The important thing is you follow through with the consequences.
Yeah.
You must follow through, or your rules won't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so these consequences are more of for the older children. Now, I would never give a student a 7 try. But then again, it's a base, what should I say, an individual basis. Because, little Johnny and Jenny is coming, they have their own set of problems at home. And you getting to know the students, you know what point you could cut off. For me, it's a verbal warning. Second time, I said, okay, silent lunch. And everybody wants to talk during lunch, right? So they don't enjoy silent lunch, right? So nobody wants to get to the second time, right? The third, you lose 10 minutes of your recess. And this won't mean anything if your recess is not nice. You have to make the recess nice. Play your music, have a little games and all that stuff. So when they said, okay, no recess, then they'll have a problem. You can negotiate with that.
Oh, by the way, just so you remember, recess is the most important part of the day.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Yes, and she mentioned that, Dr. Logan mentioned that because teachers would take away all the recess time. So don't do that, okay? You will be in breach.
No, you will be hated. Believe
me.
So
you can take a little bit of it. They don't want to use any of it. Take a little bit, right? Yes, and follow through. But you have some situations where you definitely have to get admin involved right away. And these are they fighting, with weapons, drugs. We don't usually have that at the elementary. Stealing or using profanity, obscene gesture, all that kind of thing. So you don't give anybody pardon for that.
No.
Straight to the office.
No.
Right? And if you feel threatened by any students, it doesn't matter at what level, get admin involved.
And then can I add a more immediate offense for office referrals?
Absolutely.
It's because of how times have changed. Mm-hmm. One thing you have to bear in mind, the threats. Mm-hmm. All right. So the threats are taken seriously these days.
Yes.
If a child says, I'm coming to school, I'm going to bring a weapon to school tomorrow and I'm going to do whatever. Listen, even though you are going to say he is a kindergartner, he's 5 years old, it's not possible for him to do that. No.
True.
You have to report it.
True.
You have to report that.
You have to report it.
They found, a third grade student with a loaded pistol. I forgot the state the other day. So absolutely.
Yeah. And let me add something to your consequences, Julie. I know for the lower school, that's something that's more physical for them and visible.
Yes.
What we do is we have like a color code on the wall. Mm-hmm. And so maybe the top color will be pink, yellow, blue, red, black. Mm-hmm. And then we have pins, close pegs with their names on it. And they can maybe start off on a neutral color, like maybe white. Mm-hmm. And then for the first warning, they'll be moving their pins, whether up or down. Mm-hmm. So we can start off on pink, because since pink is the ultimate where everybody should be on, everybody pin is on pink. Mm-hmm. The first one, they're going to move their pin down. And each time they do something, their pin is going down. And they know what color means what. So if your pin goes on red, it's time to call mom. Mm-hmm. If your color goes on black, tomorrow maybe no recess for you, or as you say, silent lunch. And for the lower grades, I'm telling you, they love it. They love it. And they love to look at their friends and say, oh, Anika pin is on black. Oh, our pin is on a red. My pin is on a pink. Mm-hmm. So, for the lower grades, more visible, something for them to see.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And you know the consequence and what each color means.
Right.
Yeah.
So routine and procedures now are just things that students should do in order to make your classroom environment orderly, right? And they can be posted about anything. If you have Okay, just let me get to the point when I talk too much. All right, so this is in a science classroom, right? This is a routine and procedure chart that a teacher made. What she want them to do when they come to her classroom is enter quietly,
Yeah.
and then read the rules and daily tasks on the wall. I mean, it's science, so you don't want them interfering with chemicals and all that.
Yes.
So there are going to be rules about handling chemicals, right? Then you go to your assigned spot, or when the teacher says go or starts, then you may begin the activity and so on. And this is about science, but a routine and procedures can be done about anything. If you have a corner where they have manipulatives, there can be routine. So the routine is when you leave, pack up, get the manipulatives, store them, so on, so whatever it is you want to be. And let's go to the other slide. Right, this. For example, it's going to be the end of the day, right? And at first, when I came, the students hear the bell. Oh, they're ready to go. They're so ready to go, right? And then you can establish, okay, before we go, first of all, the bell doesn't dismiss you. It's an indication that it's wrap up time.
Yes.
When it goes, this is what you do. You stop, 2, you put your work away, you clean your area, you sort, and all these things. So even though they're going away, you're still having that structure where they have to follow.
Yes.
Everything that they do, as Dr. Rowan said, they need structure. Because without structure, there's chaos in everything.
And I'm gonna add Julie. I don't know about upper school because I'm lower school, so I keep talking about the lower school. All the procedures and all the things that the kids need to do, we have to physically practice it.
Yes.
And I know with my second graders, some of them, when it comes to May, they still don't know the procedures. So what I would do, no, I'm serious. What I would do the first 10 days and whenever else that's necessary, don't think it's just the first 10 days. Whenever it is, it could be December, it could be January. You see that some people coming in, they're not following the procedure. You stop and you go over the procedures again. So your slide before, I don't know if you can go back to that slide where you talk about the procedure. What I do, I line my kids up and I put them in the hallway with their bags. And I say, okay, the first thing on the procedure says enter my classroom quietly. We're going to see what that looks like. So they're going to walk in with their bags and they're entering quietly. So the next procedure for me would be get your stuff and put away your bags. They put their bags where it's supposed to go. And so they do that. And then go to your seat, sit quietly and do your do now or your bell work, whatever your school calls it, because every school have a different name for it. That's something your students, when they come into your classroom, there must be something that they're going to start working on, whether it is something that you taught the day before and you want them to practice, but they don't want the kids to just come in and sit down and be looking around.
Right.
Something must be there every morning.
Early work.
And they sit down.
Yes.
So some schools have early work, bell work, do now.
Yes.
Whatever they call it.
Right.
So the procedure, they come in, they put away their bags, they get their stuff, and they start on. And you practice that as often as possible.
Every day.
Some people will not remember. Some of them will go.
That's a part of the first 10 days of school. That's a key activity that is done during the first 10 days of school.
Physically practicing the procedures.
Yes.
And I just wanted to add that there's, as Julie just said, you can create a routine for everything. Yes. There's morning routine that Dr. Britton just listed some of those morning routine examples. Then there is record keeping routine.
Yes.
So you know that there's the attendance that needs to be taken.
Yes.
Sometimes the attendance is taken electronically. Sometimes it's a physical copy in the initial stages of the day.
Yes.
And then it converts into an electronic reporting.
Yeah.
Then there is the lunch collection or whatever form of lunch, however you do that. There's lunchtime procedures for that.
Yes.
There's procedures for bathroom breaks or just a brain break, then, so to speak, during your morning or during your day. There's procedures for the hallway And the handbook again will help to guide you with the hallway procedures.
Yes.
There's procedures for how you submit your assignments or how you submit your homework. And there are procedures for when a student is absent, what happens, what the office does, what the parent should do, and what the teacher should do.
Yes.
Right. So there are procedures for basically a lot of things and everything. Right.
Everything.
And then even when you think about it, just like when you're teaching, you can create a procedure too for those who are early finishers and those who normally take a
Yes.
longer time to do.
What are they gonna do? Yes. Yes.
Right. And then another aspect of your day that would include a procedure would be your dismissal time.
Absolutely.
When you just said the bell is just an indication that it's time to prepare to leave.
Mm-hmm.
There is a procedure to follow that bell.
Absolutely.
You have students in the school who, especially as it relates to them leaving for home, those who walk home, those who take the bus, those who are picked up by the parent, those who go to aftercare, those who go to clubs. There's just so many things that happen.
Listen, that's just idiot. And the teachers have to know this. I know from my previous school, first day of school, you have to know who's going on which bus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a car rider. Look, I'm talking about the students at the end of the day don't know the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes me a long while to study who goes on what bus. So it's a lot.
And how I help with that, because you have car riders, walkers, bus riders. Just make a list, and as they come in, or if they change, I would put their name on each column. So if you're a car rider today, your name goes on the car rider column. If you're a bus rider, your name goes there. If you're a walker, that kind of stuff. Yes.
And that's something that you can collect on the first day of school. They can update that list. It's something that you can prepare before the first day, but you can update that list with the students sitting in front of you that day as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So go ahead, Julie.
Yes.
Oh, you had it. I just jumped in.
Yeah, arrival procedures and dismissal procedures.
Yes.
Very important if you want order. If you don't want your students run out the classroom and leave it in chaos.
Yes.
You would want to have these. So, when you come in, you hang up your backpack and unpack. Put your pencils near where you're going to need them. So while I'm teaching and while it's time for you to where you don't be getting up, getting anything, have your materials ready.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Right, and dismissal, park and prep your folder, clean your classroom, and sit quietly.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So that's the end of my PowerPoint as it relates to classroom procedures. But let me do the other one. So Miss Dr. Brittany, you can just remove that. One other strategy, one other behavior manager strategy is what we call the PAT. Is preferred activity time. And this, in the beginning, when you have your morning talk, which is also a method for classroom management. Because, when students come in, they have to de-stress. There's so much going on before they start learning anything. Because you'll find that if you just jump into teaching, in the middle of your teaching, Miss, you watched the news last night? Did you see the game? That kind of stuff. So you want to give them like a 5, to 8 minutes. Talk about anything, any burning issue that we need to talk about. How was your night? What did you do? Just to break the ice. Right? Now, at the end of that, before you wrap up, you can say, okay, this is what we're going to do today. In math, we'll be looking at this. In ELA, we'll be doing that, social studies, science. And if we get through all these tasks, then you get to choose which one of these you want to do. So you always reserve a 15 to 20 minutes for the end of the day. And the early finishers usually get the opportunity to that. So if you don't finish all your tasks, you're not getting any pats, right? So they usually work toward this. So it does two things. They get all your work in because everybody's working, right? And then they're engaged. So this helps twofolds. And you could have them choose from Prodigy, which is a math game or ELA game. And they know this because teachers use it from kindergarten coming up. Another one is typing club, which is new because since they use the laptop so often, I signed up for typing club and they love this. So that's another activity. If you finish on time, you get to do typing club. Yes, right? They have the Quavo where they can make their own music, right? They love that too. So that is awesome. Also, the awards, the tangible awards. You know, have tangible awards, but you want some outstanding awards where they can work towards. You want a little competition so they can get those. So that always works. So you have to have some money, have a Dollar Tree. If you have a wallet, just have a little where you can invest and spend a little. Buy the fruit snacks because they don't want you to give their kids any real candies and so on. The class dojo, as Dr. Logan mentioned, is awesome. It's a point system, right? And you can put in whatever behavior you want them to display. Say, okay, if you're on task, you get 5 points, right? If you help somebody today, because you have to develop their moral and social skills, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Help somebody today, you get a 10 points. So the more the behavior you want them to display more, you put that at a higher, and you have the group. You have the class dojo can be used to form groups. So you award them as a group as well as individual. Now, how that works best is when, like, you have maybe at the end of the quarter, if they keep up to like 200 points, they get a gift. And my, oh my, that works perfectly well because it's animated and they can actually hear cling when their points go up. Everybody looks.
Yes.
They have the competition who is leading.
Yes.
Always works. So Class Dojo is awesome and it's free. You can use that too.
Yeah.
And giving praise and encouragement, because the ultimate goal for classroom behavior is having students generating, or should I say, developing that mindset where you don't have to be there telling them, listen, please sit down, or awarding them something. You want it to be intrinsic. You have to change the mindset. So good job. And, but you could work a little bit on that. So praise them, but at the same time, give them something that extends their mind and keep them busy, always working towards something. And I mean, basically, those are. And then having done these, and I should say, sorry, I don't know if I said this already, grouping is also a very important part of classroom management, right? Your small group, you can't have high flyers working with low flyers. You know what I mean? You have to group them in a way, either together, saying to one, okay, you're going to work with him today, and I want you to work on this. They love that. They love that responsibility.
Yes.
We're always finishing, okay, when you're finished, this is what I want you to do. They're supposed to be bringing over the tens. I want you to go and check if everybody's doing that. If they're not, just let me know. And you don't have to be your helper. Just use them up. And at the same time, always extend your learning, the bright ones. So that's it for the most part. But what I'd say, or maybe I should leave this for wrapping up. But Stephanie, all of these sound wonderful, right? And at some point, like I did, I was like, listen, this strategy is not really working because I tried all of them and it's not working. But I found that getting to know your students individually on a personal level, you know how to flip the script to deal with them. Sometimes you have to negotiate with students. For example, I had students who love chew gum and do no work.
Yeah.
Come here, why you always chew? It says it helps him to things. I said, but you're not doing anything. Right? But this is what I'll do. If you do at least the math work today, I just allow you to chew the gum. Once you don't pop it. If you pop it, then the deal is off. Right? Yeah. Got him working.
Yeah.
So you have to try to work with them. Some students love to draw. Okay, if you finish all your work, then try to negotiate. And when you get to know them, you know how to deal with them. And eventually sometimes you have to forget about these gifts that you have to reward them. It just becomes intrinsic, So yes, that's what I'll leave you with today. Thank you very much.
Okay. So it's back to the packing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off first with the important documents. And first important document I want to talk about is the passport. I know for me, when I was coming, listen, me not forget work that's here because I already told myself, look here, this is the year me I get that job there foreign. So me I look for my passport and make sure it's a 5 years upon it because I didn't know how the renewing of it would go.
And don't leave it at home, okay?
Expired at Jamaica. So make sure your passport has enough years on it, at least
Mm-hmm.
3 years, and you can renew your passport at least 1 year before it expires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure the passport is renewed. Make sure it is packed in your bag with your important documents, and other important documents I'm going to refer to are whatever program you get on, they will be sending you documents that you're going to need to take with you. I know for the J1 program, you're going to need your DS 2019, a very important document. They ask for it when you get to the United States on the first entry, whether it's Miami, whatever port you enter first,
They're
you
gonna
need
ask.
to show your passport along with your DS 2019. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure you pack those in your bag and have those to show the officer when you are landed. Other important documents that you might want to take are your TRN, your NIS, because any number can play, and you need to make a phone call to NCB or JMMB or any of those places, and they're going to ask you for those numbers, for verification and security purposes. You need to know that. If you have insurance, like whether it be not health insurance, what do you call that one? No,
Life insurance.
right, life insurance. Sorry. If you have life insurance and you're not sure if you're going to apply for any life insurance as soon as you get to the United States, you want to continue paying your life insurance, then you can set up some statutory deductions to pay those. Or if you are somebody who can remember, you can go online and pay those monthly. Because I know some of the statutory deductions you have to pay to use those. But if you can remember to go on and pay those, what I did was I went on my NCB account and I created some payees. You can do that. Like,
Yes.
especially if it's the popular ones like Guardian Life and Sagicor. You can go on and add them as a payee and put the account number for it. So each month when I go on, all I do is click on Sagicor and the amount that I should pay and pay those. So if
Mm-hmm.
that's something you're thinking to do, you can set those up, or you can do it monthly.
Can I
If
add one thing, Doctor, in terms of documents?
Yeah.
All those things that you were asked to upload during the application process, bring
Yes.
those with you too. Because when I came, I don't know what happened, but I was asked to provide those same.
The same things.
Yes. So
Okay.
just in case.
Just in case. Okay. If you have loans back home, again, you can set up. I know some people might not want to continue paying the loan as soon as they get here, but you can set up something with your company. Find out from them if you can take a break, because if it usually come from your salary from the ministry, that's gonna stop as soon as your pay stop. Find out how you can set up to pay those loans, because at the same time you want to think of the future, especially if you're coming on a J1. You don't want to get ready to apply for certain documents in a year that you cannot get it because you are indebted in your home country. So that's important. Set up your online banking for the different things that you need. And as Julie said, put those documents that you uploaded along with your passport, your NIS, your TR, and if you're taking your children, they might need a report card to enroll in a new school.
Yes.
You want to take your degrees, all your important documents. You want to take the original copies with you and have them in a secured place when you get here. Other thing, if you're on medication, you can go to your doctor and say, I will be traveling and I will be out of the country for a number of time. How many months supply of medication can I get until I'm settled in my new country and get a chance to go to the doctor and get, to continue these prescriptions? So make sure you pack those also, and take your medical history if you have some medical history you have to share with your new doctor, because I know when you come in the States, before they look at you or before they see you, they want to reach out to the doctor that you were seeing before in your country. I'm not sure if Anika and Julie experienced that, but I had to wait until they reached out to Jamaica to get some type of medical history on
Listen,
me before
listen.
they.
I
Before they,
recently moved from New Jersey,
yeah,
and I could my children could not be seen by a pediatrician here in
yeah,
Maryland until they received the information released from New Jersey.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
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 as
yes,
close as New Jersey is right
yes,
here.
yep.
Okay.
what they did
So
for me was ask for the record back home. So I had to send
Oh.
for a record.
I
But
couldn't get an appointment.
On a side note, if
Yeah.
you're really traveling with children, or if you normally utilize some over-the-counter medicine in Jamaica, like DPH,
Bring it.
Take those,
Panadol, and
Yes.
what else?
take those.
Claritin, and all of them. There's something there.
Yes.
Bring
Yeah.
them. Bring them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because nothing you get here is going to be
Works.
as strong or as good.
They don't work.
Understand?
Serious.
I used to send, like, if I know somebody's coming up, I would send and get those things purchased, and the
Yes.
person bring them for me.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
So bring a little
That's so
over-the-counter supply with you.
That's so true. Yeah.
Mhm.
So definitely remember that your medical history, your medication, and as Anika said, the over-the-counter stuff, take those because really and truly, you're going to take a while to adapt to the new community. All right. You also want to make sure that you take your comfort food because you don't know where you're going. I didn't know that when I when I came here back then, I wouldn't find any store that would sell not even on tin mackerel, not even saltfish or codfish they call it here.
Yeah.
So pack some of the stuff that you like, whatever it is that you like, and you can take it.
I'm bread.
Listen, it took me months to find a bread
before
that I
I
could
bought
feel
one.
comfortable eating.
Yes.
Months. So it's gonna take you some time to get used to the food in the area that you're going, especially if it's an area that does not have like an international store that sells Jamaican food. So you want to make sure that you are taking your comfort food with you, even if it's things that you want to freeze, like your ackee. And I know some people like their frankfurters, so they would freeze those and take them with them. So you would all your comfort food, take them with you, and carry enough that's gonna last you until you settle and know and find out different places where you can find things that you would need. Your toiletries, again, we know you're gonna find. We know everything they're fine, but accidents happen. Your plane can get delayed, or something can happen along the way. You don't reach where you're supposed to reach. You want to have things that if there's a delay, you have your toiletries, right?
Even I'm jumping in. If you normally use wisdom toothbrush, bring it. No strong like wisdom up here. So
no here.
Okay. So don't leave the wisdom toothbrush. If you use a wisdom toothbrush user, don't leave it.
All
Okay.
habits die hard, and you're not finding any wisdom toothbrush over here. Yes, there will be bread. There will be a lot of bread, different types of bread. But it took me a while to find a bread that was close to the bread that I was used to from back home.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I mean. So take what you think you're going to need until you find something acceptable in your taste, or whatever. Also comfortable shoes. I know when I first
high-heel boots. Okay.
when I first got here, we dress in Jamaica. Teachers, we dress in our suits and our heels and our stuff. So myself and another young lady were the first Jamaicans to go to that school, and so dressed like Topi foot. Mind you, I did not wear any heels, but the young lady, she wore heels, and everybody was like looking like, okay,
like a stretch.
Because especially for the first 10 days, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work I'm telling you, it's gonna be something new, and you want to make sure you're comfortable. Yes, dress nice, but comfortable shoes. All right. Also, take your phone that is unlocked that can, use Wi-Fi here until you can get a phone um
Here.
that is connected here with whatever network.
Yes.
Because when you just arrive, you're not going to be able to get a phone same time, same day, depending on the program that you go to. They have their schedule on which days you're going to go and get a phone, which day you're going to go and look at cars, which day you're going to go look about your social security card. But you still want to communicate with your family back home to let them know that you arrive in the
Okay.
United States and you're safe. So, bring your phone so you can put on your WhatsApp. You want to make sure you have a free app. Well, we know every Jamaicans use WhatsApp, but for my other viewers who are not, Jamaicans, you can get a free app, whether it be Viber or WhatsApp or
Yeah.
Telegram, and you can use those apps to call back home and let your people know that, look, I'm here and things are going okay. And as soon as I settle and I get a phone, you get my new number. But you want to make sure you download those apps before you get here. Your family member have the app also on their phone so you can call them free, because those are free apps. Okay. You also want to make sure that you have sturdy and reliable clothing. Logan did say she buy her uniforms or her clothes, but she wears them as uniform. So you want to make sure they're sturdy enough, can withstand or withhold you for the entire year. And make sure also, I know Jamaicans, whenever we come here, we want to showcase our culture. And yes, that is a part of the J1 cultural exchange. And so you want to make sure you buy those things before you get here.
Yes.
I did
Very
say
important.
you don't need to buy the charts, but the cultural stuff, you need to buy those in Jamaica before you get here. Because if you get here, then you have to maybe buy them on Amazon and you're going to pay more for it. So what I did was I went to JIS and I got some things, some free things from JIS. But
Maps.
then you can also buy like the charts. I bought like the national heroes and also
Yes.
like the national pledge, the national bird, the national fruit, different things you want to put in your classroom to display your culture. You want to buy flags. I bought 3 of them, and everybody know the store downtown that sell the Jamaican souvenirs.
Oh,
You know that,
okay.
not
Yes.
even craft market, because craft market expensive. Look here, the
Expensive.
to me cheap,
Buy some pen.
Craft market is for the last resort if I don't get it in the wholesale. So I went down to the wholesale and I bought 3 big flags and I buy some of the small flags. Then I bought some souvenirs because you don't know who you're gonna meet, and you might, some of the people you might meet, you might like them and say, okay, I'm gonna give them a Jamaican bracelet or a Jamaican earring or whatever
Or
it is you bought,
keychain.
or a keychain or stuff. So you come with a little cultural stuff so that you can make up a little Jamaica corner in your class.
I know Jamaica Tourist Board normally has like those posters that
Yeah.
they would.
Yes, I got some from down there too.
Yes, so
And they
you
have
could visit the
books.
tourist board. And then also, like, if NCB, because I know NCB used to do some very good almanacs for
Yeah,
Yes,
if
yes.
they have almanacs like display different aspects of our Jamaican culture, like a market scene
Yes.
or a jolly bus ride scene or whatever transportation or the beach, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get
I
some of
want
those, right.
One advice I'd give you
Go ahead.
when you come with all the wonderful things that we have purchased, don't want to get too nice and give away everything, because you see,
Yes.
it's just here and people crave the Jamaican, whatever it is. Once it's from Jamaica, they want it.
Yes.
So you want to reserve some of those nice things until you actually get to know the persons who are worthy of them. Because I found that when I really wanted to give somebody something, I
You didn't have any.
to give. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm bringing 2 buckets of white rum too. Yes.
And then 2 buckle of white rum. All right. So you can buy the souvenirs by the dozen, especially if they're cheap. So, some people just want to give away. And somebody's asking which store is that. Miss Iman, you should know the name of the street that store is on. If you know, you can put it in the chat box, please. I don't know the name of the street, but if you know the street that Charles Jug Stores, that's Charlie's Jug Store.
Yes, right.
That street, but Charlie's Jug Store is to the end where it's to that end where that park is.
Yeah.
What's the name of the park?
Where we take bus, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the wholesale is on the other end, going like you're going to the market. So if you're on the same road where Charlie's Drugstore is on and you're walking straight down and like you reach close to the market, you just start looking in those stores on your right hand there. And Eric on Orange Street, somebody says Eric on Orange Street sells them. Yeah, so Eric would sell them also, but that store, when I go in the store I'm describing, they sell a lot of souvenirs. Also, don't forget your Jamaican t-shirt or your Jamaican dress or your Jamaican hat, whatever it is you want. You know, when it's dressed down here, you want to wear your Jamaican t-shirt or your Jamaican clothing, you can do that also. And you can also buy shirts to give away if you have the money to do that. Because when they see us in it, they were like, oh, I would like to get a shirt like that. Where did you get it?
And in terms of artifacts, check the older people if they have any that you could take with you. Because those are, when you have your things displayed and you can really tie those into your history.
Yes.
That is just so awesome.
And I know the first year when I came out, also had pictures with like Usain Bolt, Shelly and Fraser, and the different athletes, and you know, the Jamaican celebrities, because listen, we want to showcase to our community that we have celebrities back home too. Yes. And believe you me, in the school that I was, a lot of them did not know about Shelly and Fraser and Usain Bolt.
Yes. True.
Right, so right there and then you are educating them. So when Olympics came around, they were familiar with the name now, and now they're looking out for the Jamaican runners. And then, oh, that's one of the person that was in my classroom in my Jamaican corner. And look here, or if I want to display it, I see there's a Canadian teacher at my school. There's a big Canadian flag right behind her, a big Canadian flag. You don't have to ask which country she's from. Right? I wasn't so extra. I did my little corner, you know, and have some small flags. I use the big flag, like if we're doing something like, you know, a cultural day, a cultural day,
use the big one.
The big flag.
Because Stephanie,
flag in the classroom.
Yeah, because that too is a requirement where our flag cannot be bigger than the American flag in class.
Yes.
Really? At your school?
Yes.
No, I think it's all over.
No. Okay. So what's wrong? I'm telling you, there's a big Canadian flag.
Yeah. I don't think it should happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So also, if you're going to be coming, depending on the area you're going to be going, if it's an area that is chilly, I know they say South Carolina is not cold. That's what our sponsors said.
It's not cold.
It is cold to me. They are comparing it to New York and New Jersey, but I don't care.
We may not have snow, but it is cold.
It is cold to me.
Headache cold.
So, yes, so if you have your sweater, you can take those also. And if you have layers, you can take those, because if you don't, then you will have to buy it when you get
here. They're expensive.
So in the beginning, you want to make sure you take what you need, so you don't have to take on all those additional expenses in the beginning. All right. So you have to do your research as to where you're going, and even if they say it's not cold, trust me, walk with a sweater, because it is cool. All right. You want to make sure you have some money. Take your money. Because even in Savannah, it gets cold. Yes, it gets cold in Savannah also. So take your sweater. You want to take your money. Your change out your Jamaican currency to the currency, whichever country you're going to, and make sure you have some money to walk with.
I said the money can't too much. Bring on.
Come with your money and ready to be wise with it also, because you don't want to come and spend all your money before your first paycheck. I
And
know.
Stephanie, I wanted to say something. You talk about dressing, as you said, we like to dress up, right? And
Yes.
when we come, we know that nice things come from foreign. But when you're here using the US dollar to purchase them, then you're gonna be faced with some problems. So
Yes.
bring your clothes.
Calculating.
Yes, bring your clothes and bring the little sweater or the cardigan so you can mix and match and mix and match.
Yes.
You can buy two of the nice looking ones that you see online. All right.
Yes.
If you follow what you see, you won't be left with any money.
Because listen, that is so true. And then when you just come here initially, though people say it's cheaper in foreign, when you get here and start living here and you go in the store and you pick up an item, you're the first thing you're gonna do is start say, oh, $20, how much American dollar this? This is too expensive. No buy this, put it back. It's not worth it. Right? So you're gonna be doing the calculations. After a while, you might stop. I have not stopped.
You will stop.
After a while, you stop, Julie?
Yeah, you kind of stop because you say you know the Jamaica. You have to count the dollar here as the dollar.
Right, yeah. After a while, you just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Okay. Anyway.
Let it go. Don't kill it. Don't fight yourself with it. Let it go.
Stephanie, it probably happen in the next 5 years or so because she's kind of more.
After a while, you just let it go.
Yeah, so bring your stuff. Money can't be too much, but at the same time, you have to budget. And I'm going to talk a little about budgeting. I know when I came here first, and a lot of people might not know this, but when we came on Faces, we weren't paid directly by our school district. Meaning, what the program did was the district would pay them, and then they would pay us. And so it was like what we call it in Jamaica when you go to
like an agency.
Like an agency, you know, the agency take a fee.
They collect their portion,
And collect their portion. And so you're not left with a lot of money. And so we still had to survive. So what we did was most of us, we shopped in like Dollar Tree, you know, the cheaper stuff and flea market. And listen, some people, I'm not going to say some people. I know a lot of Jamaicans, they turn their nose up into your flea market. But listen, when you go to the flea market, you have brand new stuff there in the flea market.
Everybody goes there.
Brand new stuff in the flea market, but it's sold cheaper sometimes, not all the time. So don't think you're going to go and see brand new stuff cheaper all the time. So, you know, you can go to those places and get your different things and budget your money wisely, but you're also going to need to find some means and a way to start building your credit because everything runs on credit here. What I did after my agency signed us up for the Bank of America, I reached out to the person that, you know, the person that took care of us, he gave me his card. So I reached out to him after and I said, can I get a credit card? And he was like, you can get a credit card, but you know that one, you have to put some money on it.
It's a secured credit card.
Secured credit card. And then when they see how much you manage that, then you can get back your money and then they put their money on it. When you want to do
that, they're asking for at least $300 down for a secured credit card.
And you want to do that ASAP.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
A lot of people wait and say they don't want a credit card and they don't. You have to start building credit. You must start building credit because everything that you're gonna do, they're gonna do a credit check. And if you have no credit, well,
things like phone purchase and so don't build your credit. But they get reported to the credit bureau if you are in issues with them. And everything basically gets reported to the credit bureau, but not everything builds your credit.
Yeah.
So long-term loans like getting a vehicle. And it's so, I don't know, because you still have to have the credit to get the vehicle.
Yes.
But
the one thing is that your interest rate will be higher if you don't have a credit, an established line of credit. Your interest rate will be higher, but you still will you still will be able to get it. You know?
And how you could get around that is initially you know you're not going to have with the credit, right?
Yes.
Get the car for the high interest rates, pay your monthly fees, and then later on, maybe a year or two after, you can have established that credit, good line of credit,
Refinance.
so you can refinance your car and get a better payment option. That
Right.
works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, refinancing. I did that. I had to do
I mean, in Jamaica, we're really against credit and thinking that if you owe somebody, it's a crime. This society is built on credit.
credit.
People.
So there's just no way of going around it.
Yes.
I made that mistake, even though I didn't come like on a program or so, but I made that mistake like in the first 3 years of me being here, that I wanted to do everything using my cash straight up.
Yeah.
And I went to purchase my first car because I was, my family member gave me a car when I just came, so I didn't have to buy a car. 3 years later, when I said, okay, all right, I'm going to go buy one brand new car now.
Yeah.
Bricks. You didn't have an established line of credit.
Yes.
Right? And that was a problem.
Yes.
And even though you would have money to make your deposit to buy this car, it is still a problem because your interest rate will be like over your head like this, you know?
Yes.
So don't run away from it. It's just that you have to manage, learn it, study it. You study the credit system and you learn it, and then you just manage yourself based on that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you clarified that the cars and the phones don't help to build the credit. They want to see that you're actually owing people money and paying back the money.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that after you get that first credit card, other places are going to start offering you credit cards.
Lord Jesus.
But then you know yourself and what you can manage. So if you want to take all of them, fine. But
don't.
It's just so many parts to this credit thing that you have to learn.
Yes.
Because yes, you want to have a very high credit score, but then that credit score can be basically it has no value because you don't have much revolving accounts attached to that score. And the revolving accounts are the major accounts like credit cards, major loans, all of those things, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. And even if you have and I would suggest 3 or 4 credit cards, right? But not because you have a credit card with $5,000, you go spend it. Because if you keep spending, I think more than 30%, your credit score go down anyway. So you
should never owe more than 30% of the established credit that you have.
So you spend a little off of this one and a little bit off. Don't spend more than what you know, sir. At the end of the month or whenever you get paid, you can actually fully clear off those
Those are the things that that loaners or lenders look at when they are going to decide how much to lend you and what your interest rate will be.
Yes.
And I want to add that also with the credit card thing. Some credit cards, they offer rewards, and like Old Navy. That's my one of my favorite stores. Old Navy credit card, you can use it not only at Old Navy, but then each time you spend it, you get rewards. Meaning, you will find that you go in the store to shop, and you have enough reward to cover the amount of items you took up. Listen, you might not find that because your items might be, expensive or whatever. But most times when I go in Old Navy, my rewards usually cover my bill. Okay.
Yes, definitely. And you took me shopping there, and I was very pleased. I didn't spend a whole heap of money,
Yes.
She know the ins and outs.
So basically, there are stores here like you have stores that will you open a credit card with them and it's a store credit card, and then you have stores here that you open a credit card with them and it's a Visa card that has a reward system attached to it, so you can use it to buy gas, you go to the restaurant, buy groceries, all of that, and you earn points and rewards from that. Right. So Old Navy would be one of them. Costco would be one of them.
Yes. It Sam's already.
Sam's.
What about Credit One?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So Credit One usually be sending out credit cards in the mail a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Credit One.
Belk is a good one. For those of you who like fashion and all that, get a Belk card. Because they usually have a lot of deals. So if you see something that you would like, just wait until it's on sale. You can, you know, and they usually notify you. They'll calls too. Can't work with them. Yeah.
All right. And the next thing I would advise you to do is find out how you can join a credit union. When I just came here, I wasn't aware of how to until I was refinancing my car. That's when I actually joined that credit union who refinanced the car for me, and the interest rate was lower than the car dealership. So if you can find out when you just get here how to join a credit union and you join a credit union, they can maybe assist you in purchasing a car, and the interest rate might be lower than what the car payment or the car interest rate would be. Even though you don't have credit, they will make, you know, they might still lend it to you at a high rate, but not as high as the car dealership. So you want to find out how to join a credit union. I don't know if you have. I know the one I joined was SRP, that's in South Carolina, but I learned of a new one. I'm not sure of the name. I don't know if the same one you have, Julie.
I have SCU, just State Credit Union. I've heard about SECU.
Yes, there's SECU and MECU. Meku or whatever, because we have Meku up here now.
But whatever credit union is always better than the major banks.
Yes.
They have a lot of fees attached to them. So you know,
yeah. All right. So
Stephanie, before you come off of credit card, outside of the store cards and all that, Capital One, you want a Capital One credit card, all right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay.
I was saying Capital One usually be offering their credit card. I don't have one. Because you all know, because I fell in love with Old Navy. And I don't want to have too many.
That's because they give a lot of cash back. So even though you're spending, you could earn up to like, depends on how much you spend. 20.
Bank of America.
Yeah.
Bank of America give cash back also.
Yeah,
but that's cash back.
I'm a Costco girl. I'm a Costco girl.
I like the fact
Costco.
Costco. What Costco give?
You get double the rewards. You get store rewards, and then you also get the credit card rewards.
Okay. And so you can get free food.
Oh, so your store reward can be used to buy anything in the store.
Okay.
And then the credit card rewards, you can use it to do anything.
Okay.
It's like a check. You just change it.
Okay.
Good. All right. So I think I've talked a lot on financial literacy. I don't know if you have questions, you can maybe put them in the chat box. But I want to talk also about when I talk about budgeting. And again, I'm going to say this. I know a lot of Jamaicans, we turn our nose up on certain place. But listen, it's a thrift store.
Yard sale. Yard sale.
Yard sale.
Yes.
Oh my, that's my favorite place.
Yard sale, people. Listen, but I'm having yard sale these days. I had a yard sale Saturday and the week before.
Oh, Stephanie.
Yes.
So,
what do you mean?
Things you acquire over the years, especially as it relates to gifts from students and parents, and
front and sell. Christmas. So you will find, you will find people putting out stuff in the front of their yard. You will see the yard sales being advertised. You can go there. You can get things for cheap. You just come. You're trying to settle. You're not trying to buy all these expensive, exorbitant. Listen, I could give you an example of people I know who came and did that and what happened, but I'm not going to say it, but I'm just sharing. That doesn't mean you have to take my suggestion, but I'm just sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
They're just some basic things that you just wouldn't buy. Like you wouldn't buy a mattress at a yard sale.
No.
You wouldn't buy linen, bed linen and towel and stuff at a yard sale. But there are good things at a yard sale.
Yes.
Very good things. Sets, maybe a microwave. Even stove, washer, dryer.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, yard sale was my favorite place for a couple years, at least 5 years. Well, anytime you miss me, I'm there yard sale.
Because what you found with the yard sale, because I saw a yard sale on Facebook, and it was in Savannah, but I'm in South Carolina, and the person said moving sale, everything going, and some of the things were free, because sometimes they just They have to move, and they don't want to
get
take
rid
the
of the
stuff
things,
with them,
yeah.
and they want to
Get
get
rid
rid
of
of things. And so they just put them out to the front, and they sell everything dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the
I prefer
yard
moving
sale,
sales than yard sales actually, because yeah.
yes, and the thrift store end up with some of these items because the people will just pack up everything and bring it to the thrift store, and then the thrift store sells them, right? Goodwill. I know I keep saying people turn up their nose, going to Goodwill. Look here. Some of the things that were on my stall last week on my yard sale, I bought them brand new in Goodwill. We had some cute little bottles you can put lotion in, and lotion and something else, hand soap, 99 cents in Goodwill. And I bought a lot of them, and then I put them on my stall for my yard sale.
I see somebody mentioned in the chat OfferUp. So they have gone. I mean, yard sales have been very what do you call it now? Creative now. So like the other day when COVID didn't stop yard sales from happening. Believe
Yeah.
me, they just took it to Facebook.
Yes.
They took it to OfferUp and other different apps out there now that you can buy things from in a similar fashion to yard sale. It's just that you have to be very careful as it relates to pick up and drop off.
Yes.
Because you just have to be careful with that, but it's still an option,
Yeah. I'm in Varnville. I'm in the Low Country. Gordon, the Low Country, Varnville. I'm close to the border of Georgia. That's where I am. But yes, people, and listen, yesterday again, because the yard sale basically, I'm saying to my son, I need you to do this because you want to teach them little skills. It's not that you always have to work for people. You can do something for yourself.
Yeah.
And so he's on summer break. I'm like, okay, you're gonna run off here because stall, the summer now, so a weekend time, you're gonna put out the stuff and you're gonna sell. So we went back in there again yesterday. We bought like scale, scale for people to stand on.
Yeah.
Look fairly new. And we can put those on the thing and resell them back in our little community. So you never know what you can find in the thrift store, yard sale, flea market, Dollar Tree. You can find stuff in there for cheap. You're just coming and you don't know. Listen, the pay might sound enough. You're home and you're going to calculate the pay and it's going to sound enough. But when you come here and you realize that you have to pay your rent and you have to pay the water, you have to
live. You have to live.
Yes, and you have to pay for the internet and you have to pay all those bills. Plus, you have to still pay bills you have back home.
Yes.
Then what are you left with? So you have to think smart and budget wisely. Listen, I'm not saying that 2 years or a year after when you settle, you want to go and live lavish. You can go and live lavish. You can find other means and other things to do. But in the beginning, you want to make sure you're budgeting your finances in a way that is going to make you live comfortable and not miserable, because I've seen it. Okay, I think I've covered all for packing. I think that's it for me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
For me, I think I have one more point to bring up as it relates to when teachers are allowed to return to the building. And that's usually like a week or so before school reopens. So all the thoughts that I mentioned that you should be bearing in mind, those are very important to prevent you from starting your first week of school looking all exhausted and tired as if, you just ran a marathon. And if you're not very careful, the first week when you get back to organize your physical classroom space, you will end up being tired after that first week, and the kids are not in front of you yet.
Yes.
So be careful, strategize, and think about these things that I will mention. Technically, you can create your checklist from this, and it will be very helpful for you to prevent you from being as exhausted as you might be otherwise. So like you're back into the building, you are told that this will be your new classroom. And so you walk through, you evaluate the space, you look around, you look at the things that are already in place for you. Some of them, of course, might have been covered up or moved out of the room and will now be removed into the, they're returning them to the room. So you'll start to organize the folders, your tubs for your manipulatives. You look at how much manipulatives you have, you organize them. And of course, you already know that you'd have to be preparing like your labels and your subject area, what do you call it again?
The headings?
Headings and so for
Headings.
yes. So just like in Jamaica would have this corner, that corner.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We call them centers here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So you would know that sometimes you would have subject centers or just centers to facilitate different enrichment activities that you would organize. So you are thinking of identifying your centers and where you would label those. You're thinking about your book corners, your bookshelves, organizing the books that are available in the classroom, organizing the devices, come up with a procedure or routine for how you will distribute the devices, how you will keep account of the devices. And the devices can range from iPads, Chromebooks, what do you call it? MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, desktop computers. They have most classrooms have interactive boards.
Yeah.
And so you would just look at how you would use everything that's available, organize them, arrange them according to some of the the classroom layout plan that Julie mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Think of which one would work best for you once you are in that space. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's very important for you to have a layout and organize all the resources to facilitate the layout that you have. All right.
Yeah.
Think about the supplies, how much supplies, what kind of supplies you're going to need. If it's lower grades, of course, you won't be needing pens and a lot of markers or pens and crayons. You'll be using like jumbo crayons and jumbo pencils, and you won't have individual sharpeners. You might need to decide where you're going to locate the classroom sharpener. All of these things, keep those in mind. But those are the things that you do when you are now back into the space to prepare for the kids for the following week.
Yeah.
You will also, you can talk with your school or your team, but on the first day of school, every child must have a name tag.
Yes.
Every child.
Yeah.
All right. And so when you talk with your
sake, for your sake, the teacher as well, that is good for you, the teacher too.
Right. So when you talk with your school, you will know if the grade level you're given, if it's going to be a name tag or a name plate. Lower grades, it's usually like a name plate that they put on the desk.
Yeah.
And it has an adhesive, so it is very secured on the desk.
And for lower grades, they also put it on the kids, especially for the kindergartners and the those babies. They put a name tag on them also.
Right. Yes. So some of them might have lanyards and they get attached, or they have a clip or something.
Yeah.
But name tags are very, very important for that first week and first day of school.
Yeah.
You will also decorate your bulletin boards. And every classroom would have a few of those.
Yeah.
Sometimes your bulletin board is located inside your classroom. Sometimes it's located on the outside. But then your team will tell you what board is used for what. Sometimes, like in my school, we have designated boards that you would use to display student work, or boards that would just display the theme for the month.
Yes.
Right? I don't know how they do it in your school, Julie or Dr. Burton.
They changed the theme.
It changes, yeah.
Okay. So
but the ones in your classroom, you can decorate it how you want.
However you want.
What I would do is in the beginning, I would use especially the one, if there's one in the beginning, as you enter, to say welcome to second grade. So something that's pretty catchy and they see, but then you can change it along. When it's Christmas, you can decorate it with the Christmas colors and stuff. If it's Valentine's Day, you can change your bulletin boards inside to do.
I allowed my teachers just last week, because we just closed off our school year, so we're on summer break officially, and I allowed teachers to decorate their boards for September already.
Really?
Wow, that's good.
And I made them cover them up. No, they just decorate and leave them. They covered them up. So you have to cover them. So that's the catch. You decorate it, but you have to cover it.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
That's good to give you a head start.
Yes,
That's
that's a head
good.
start because I have other things that I need them to focus on when they come back.
Yes.
So they decorate the boards.
Rogan, you're not a stressful principal, are you?
I try not to be, but they say I'm a taskmaster. I am.
Oh.
Because I strongly believe in routine and procedure.
Yes,
yes.
It just makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, and after you've done your boards, then you would think about where you're going to post student work, where you're going to post announcements for your classroom,
Yes.
where you're going to post the class schedule, your welcome notice, or your welcome poster, your welcome board, your calendar. If it's lower grades again, you must have a calendar in your classroom, days of the week, months of the year, all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is for you, Anika, at your school, how you do it. But in terms of posting student work, often you just post them in whatever corner. For example, we have the math, social studies, and science area. We usually have a little board where you, if it's math, then you post the work in there. And then, but when it comes to the general thing, like for behavior and you want them to see their name up there, we have this big board where you just put that up. And in terms of labeling stuff, it's not just merely labeling them. I know you know this as a principal, but when your students come in, don't assume that they can read it and know what it means. This is also part of your first 10 days. When that is over there, explain how they do it. Get your procedure in right at that moment with the labels and everything.
Indeed.
That's
very, very important.
I have a question. I don't know if Dr. Logan or if Julie, when you post your students' work, let me ask Dr. Logan, do you require the teachers to write like a commentary on the students' work?
I just require that there's accuracy. So if they, I just want it to be corrected. So if there's a mistake, if there's an error, just make sure it's corrected. That's all. They don't have to post a comment, but they have to make sure that the grammar is checked, the spelling is checked. There has to be accuracy to it.
That's all.
So your school also, Julie?
No, the school doesn't require it, but I do it because I think that, especially for their free writing pieces, right? When they write me something, I want to show them that I have interest in their growth in that. So that's my way of giving them feedback.
Okay, so
I give the correction and I said, hey, look at this. And then I post it. I don't ready it up all over, but I would like a comment. Good job.
But my previous school, I don't see it in my current school. My previous school, you could not put up any student work without commentary on it. You had to say what is it you liked on it, and what is it that you think the child did a good job of, and why. You had to say something to every single piece of work. You had to say, okay, good job, Julie. I like that you make sure to
wonderful
your words neatly. I like that you took the time.
Yes,
I'm not going to like this.
Commentary.
It's a lot of work, but it helps. It helps.
Every piece of work that we're going to post.
Yeah.
So that is something you have to know. You see, and it comes back to the culture of the school. You have to know your school is going to require you to put those notes.
Right.
Listen.
I just don't like to see work posted and it's just mistake all over. I don't like it. I don't. It says a lot about the teacher too, but that's all. Thank you.
I'm not in agreement with that because I teach second grade and they're at this time, they're at their invented spelling level. And I don't think I need to be correcting every single error because I know if they say GILR, I know this girl.
Yes.
I know it's girl.
So for me, I would say to you that would be your draft. I edit your draft for you, and then then you take that and you do a published piece.
Anika seems like she, that would go for the
she's gonna stick me for everything.
No, but even as early as second grade, you can teach the writers.
Yes, we're
gonna teach them.
First draft and second draft. Why I don't let them do the first draft and second draft in their initial, like the first term, right? It's just free writing.
Yes.
Free writing from me to see where they're at.
Yes.
Now, because sometimes when you overcorrect them, it kind of let them withdraw from.
I understand that.
So you want, oh, this is good, man, but you know,
yes,
is that how we spell rat? Remember we talk about rat spell? You remember one try that. So in terms of the writing process, though, but to ensure that they're actually using the writing process, pre-write and all of that, I kind of leave that for my third to fourth term, and I will kind of grade them on that. Say, okay, you have this and all of that. Well, okay, that's good.
And that's fine too. That's fine too, because you also really don't want to give a negative impression. So I understand that approach.
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of work the way you want it initially.
Listen, but I can say that because and that's my approach, because I've seen, I mean, our culture just different. Like we do it, and we do something we know. So like, all right, so just like what you're saying that by the end of the year, I am particular for this.
Yes.
I also know that I've worked with folks where even at the end of the year, they still can't catch the mistakes. They can't help.
I definitely get that. Yes.
And that is also important, because as the standardized test, which you cannot get away from, it does require them to show these skills. Rewriting, all the steps in the writing process. So to start early is not a bad idea. Well, you want to work, yes, but not a bad idea.
It's a lot of work. But I like the suggestion about the practice
comment.
About writing a comment.
Yeah.
I don't think my teachers are going to be happy with this one.
Listen, I was not happy with it at first, but I realized the students appreciate it.
Yes.
They appreciate it. They want to see what is it that the teacher said. Oh, and even if they can't read it, they were like, oh, what did you say? You read it to them like, oh. And it's a way to also give them positive feedback.
Yes.
So another one of my first week of school preparation requirement is a data wall. They say data. You down south, you say data wall.
I still say data wall. I still say data. I don't know about Julie, but they say data.
Data wall. The data wall has to be ready and up for the first day of school.
Yes.
So as I said before, you familiarize yourself with the data. You know how your groupings will look, but this is also something that you will be required to have and will update throughout the year, because we do 3 data points throughout the year for standardized testing.
Yeah.
You update after each testing.
Anika, the data wall, or data wall as they would say.
Yeah.
Is it more for the teacher or for the students?
Both.
Everybody.
Both.
So the good thing about that is it has some negative implications, but the positives we would focus on, which is that it will help the students as a class to see how we are performing. And it also helps to build that culture of growth.
Yes.
So it's not, I'm going to point out that such and such is way down on this, and their bar is all the way down here, while these set of students, their bars are up here.
But what I do is I don't use names on my
data. And then you have to be creative.
I use numbers.
Give them colors or
Julie, you're gonna know, Julie, that you're number 6, and I'm gonna call you and say, Julie, you're number 6. Where are you? What color you're on? Red. Okay, you know what red means, Julie? Okay. So I'm gonna make sure Julie know that she's number 6. And I'm going to say, you don't need to tell anybody in this class what number you are, but you know what number you are. And if Julie moves from red to yellow, because that's the colors we use, red, yellow, blue, green.
Yes.
Green being the highest. Julie, if you move from red to yellow, a big celebration.
Yes.
Right? Julie, you still don't need to tell anybody your number. Because, sometimes the colors can fluctuate. So it's good for the kids and the teacher. And also, if, visitors come, they can see what you're working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another thing that you have to remember, and this happens a lot with teachers, if you're not required to have a name tag, you will realize that on the first day of school, the kids will come into your classroom and you didn't write your name on the board. The kids don't know your name. Right? So that's something to keep in the back of your mind.
And
Right? That's
that's
part
true.
of your first day of school preparation.
That's true.
You get so busy,
Yes.
and the kids
That's
will be
true.
looking at you like, "Oh, she talking to me," but
That too help me with classroom management, because I am new coming to the United States. They're like, okay, she's from Jamaica. She's not like one of us. So they want to know, who is this person coming to talk to me? What can she tell me?
Yes.
So they be like, they want to know you. So the first start with that, the name. My name is, it is spelled this way, and this is how you say it. Because they too are going to tell you, my name is this, it's spelled like that, but this is how I want you to say it. So first start with that structure, and it also kind of establish a little line of respect where call me by my right name. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, like, I could go on and on about the preparations because I realize we're like way 2 hours.
So we want to wrap it up. We want to wrap this up.
So let me just quickly run down the checklist real quickly. So you need to know the lesson plan template that your school will require you to utilize. So that's something that you have to bear in mind during that first week when you go back. Ask them, how do I submit lesson plans? When do I submit lesson plans? What format do you want the lesson plans in? And then once you know all of that, then you start preparing for the real activities now. So you're preparing, you're getting to know you activity.
Can I continue? Can I continue 1 minute? 1 minute. 1 minute.
No problem.
I know some schools with the lesson planning, because I'm always for the teachers, like, because I know what it is like. It's a lot of work. So if you go to a school and they do shared planning, I know some Jamaican teachers, I know we wash show so we can write lesson plan best, so we can if they're doing shared planning, if I were you, I would, go along with the shared planning. Yes, you can tweak it to your liking and stuff like that. But especially at lower grades, I know for second grade and planning all the different stuff, in Jamaica, it can be time consuming. So if your school has a easier way where they're doing a shared planning among grade, you can up to be a part of it if you'd want to, or you can write your own plans. But that's just
I wouldn't suggest writing your own plans if you have an opportunity to collaborate, because the demand for the lesson plans is very crucial.
Yes.
And it's just not gonna make it. You can't manage on your own with it.
True. Sometimes when you do the shared planning, remember you have a different set of students. So you do have to go through tweak it to match their level of students.
Yes, but not start from scratch.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't do that.
Yeah, I had to say that because
that's too much work. And then another thing that you want to do is to create your substitute plan. That's one of the checklist requirements for teachers. You must have a subfolder or a subplan that we store for emergency uses. That's different from you taking off, you're taking off 3 weeks from now. You're going to take off time off and you need to have a plan for your sub. That's different. That's a different kind of substitute folder, different kind of substitute plan. And also you do a part of your onboarding or even just the first week setup. You set up your different accounts, whether it's Class Dojo, your school. Find out if your school requires teachers to have a website for their classroom. Find out how to log into that. Set up your website, update your class website. Decide if you're going to use newsletter. Decide how often you're doing that to communicate with parents. And you create a format or a template for your newsletter. Set up your Google Classroom if Google Classroom is what's used. And then also just plan for back to school night.
Yeah.
I'm done.
So I think we've come to the end. I see Natalie said Teacha corner 2 at this week on bust my head with so much information. So we're gonna tone it down now, guys. I know Dana was asking if we're taking calls. The phone line is open if you have any question. We don't want to stay too long, guys. We're already 2 hours in. So if somebody wanted to call in, you can go ahead and do that now. You know the number. It's 1-876-3175-976, and it's WhatsApp call only. Should you allow students a choice and a voice in making rules? We did talk about that earlier, where Julie said you're going to get them involved in the making the rules, but not allow them to give all you're going to guide them. You're going to guide them. You're going to ask guiding questions to lead to the questions that the rule that you want to.
And then to concretize the rules, what you do, you take those and you make a first day of school contract, and you have this. You go over that, and you have them sign. That yes, I was a part of this decision to make these are the rules for the classroom, and I am in agreement that I will uphold these rules for the classroom.
Social contract, yes.
Social contract, right.
All right. While we wait, I want to take the time to thank you, ladies, for coming to share. These two beautiful ladies. I'm looking at them like, two beautiful, powerful.
Oh, can I just add something? Julie, tell them where we met. Tell them where we met.
Childhood preparatory junior high school, and this lady can dance. Let me tell you.
So Julie and I we taught at Holy Childhood Prep. Yeah, yes. That's before I came to St. Anne's Primary. Yeah, so I know Julie before I know you.
Yes.
Oh wow! Oh wow! All right, we have our first caller. We have Natalie Hyman, our first caller. Go ahead, Natalie.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Good night, Julie.
Good night.
Good night, Anika.
Hey. Good night, Natalie.
Tonight, ladies, hats off to you. You very well. You were quite informative. Information off in a bus right now. Honestly. Miss Dr. Britton, she has been interviewing a lot of the world, and it has been really enlightening me to come foreign. But Miss Logan Allen made the mistake again. Miss, I let them say I about to make me a quiver in my brain. So you're stretching to them, but that's the employer as my second to come in the thing there. But it was very, very, very informative, very good. You ladies, you really a wealth of knowledge, and I applaud you to be sharing it with others.
Yes.
Some persons have it and they keep it to themselves.
Yes.
I applaud you to share it with the of us.
Yes.
Let me know, say, well,
Yes, that's true.
Jamaica,
yes.
Line, St. Anne's Primary, the product of St. Anne's Primary. You are really living to our motto through difficulties.
To the stars. Through difficulties.
You never sing a Jamaica Julie the way yourself.
Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for calling in. All right, so that was our first caller. I don't know if anybody else want to call in or if there's any question. We're going to give you 5 minutes more, then we're going to wrap up. I hope you did learn something tonight. I know Natalie said her a boost with information, but I want to take the time to thank you again, Dr. Logan and Julie Livermore, for coming to share with us. Listen, Julie, listen about a ramping. My friend Julie, she's coming there, Papa, and well prepared. Don't ramp her.
No, listen, because I know I talk a lot. I had to, have something to kind of.
Listen, don't ramp it out now. Thank you very much, Miss Livermore. Thanks for coming. I know you were ready. From I said, I said, yeah, ma'am, I'm ready. Yes, Dr. Logan, you from the initial you were saying you wanted something like this where we could have like a discussion, a group, and you say, I want to be a part of it. And I just want to thank you, ladies, for coming to share. Because as Natalie just said, a lot of people have the information, but they don't want to share it. Or I'm not going to say they don't want to share it. They don't know how to share it. Or they might be sharing it, but not to a lot of people. And so we use this platform to share what we know to all who want to come and learn from us. Yes. So thanks again. It was an awesome discussion.
Might I add something? Wonderful. Yes. As educators overseas, we consider ourselves to be trailblazers. And I have an Instagram page that I am using as a medium to showcase more trailblazers like ourselves. And so it's called Principals on Duty. You
I'll
can
put it
go
in the
over
chat box.
Yeah, please type that in the chat box. Principals on Duty. And I am highlighting right now those Jamaican educators who are blazing the trail, and especially those in the administration right now. So go over to that page. You can follow me there. You will be seeing a lot more. I am heading to Ghana next week. Wow. Is that already? Yes! Wow. I'm going to Ghana. So I saw someone in the chat called Parkour, and I was trying to reach out to her to ask her where in Ghana is she from. But anyways, I will be going to Ghana. Hopefully I can make some connections with some schools over there. And you'll see some updates about that too on my Instagram.
I would love to get some insights on that. I know I have a lot of people from Ghana. I know somebody mentioned earlier that she's watching from Ghana.
Evelyn,
yes. And I usually have people from Ghana watching weekly. And I'm grateful for them. And I would like, as you say, when you go make those connections so we can learn more about, education in Ghana. So that's good. So Principals on Duty, and if you'd like to be featured, you can also reach out to her and let her know you'd like to be featured, or if you know an administrator who you'd like to get featured, you can reach out to Dr. Logan Allen and let her know that. All right.
Stephanie, thank you once again for sharing on your platform. It's always a pleasure sharing your time with your wonderful audience.
You're welcome.
You're doing a very good service to those who are new, those who are here. You are doing a fantastic job with that.
Somebody just tell me some ministry school call me because look here.
No, that's not what we're promoting here. What we're doing is we're encouraging folks to think about their career on a serious note. And if you're comfortable, that's fine. But if you're not and you're seeking to elevate yourself, then that's okay too. And that's why we're here.
Yes. All right. Explore options. All right.
Okay. So guys, I hope you did go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. If you did not give the video a thumbs up as yet, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. As I said always, and I've said it before, it doesn't cost to like the video. And if you have not subscribed to this channel as yet, go ahead and subscribe, share the video, share the link so other teachers can learn more about what it is like teaching abroad. Again, we're not telling you guys to leave your home country, whether you're in Jamaica, Ghana, the Philippines, wherever you are. We are not telling you to leave your country. We're just sharing with you our experiences, and so that others can know what's happening across the world. Because listen, a lot of people, they want to get information about other things, but they're scared because they have never heard from somebody who has been in the situation before, or how or what to expect. So this platform is basically to help those people who need the information. Again, share the video. If you did not share, like the video, and also remember to subscribe. You can find me also on IG as Kicking with Dr. Britton, and also on Facebook as Jamaican. What? I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name. Yes, a lot. There's just a lot. So yes, Jamaican Teachers Yard and Abroad. I was asking, I think I need to throw this question out. Should I change that name? Because the platform is not just showcasing Jamaican teachers, because you have seen we have teachers from Ghana, Cameroon, here. So that's something I want to talk about first before I go ahead and do any changes. But guys, a lot of things will be coming from this channel. Be on the lookout. Thanks for joining. Thank you again, Dr. Logan Allen and Julie. And we're going to take off. Again, if you have any questions, leave those in the chat box, and we'll see you next time. Bye.